Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
Hello again. This is the Post Office. That's right, our special podcast series. And I love this series because I get to talk to people that I like to talk to. And let's go right to the hotline, joining us fresh off from a huge, and I think that's an understatement of the word huge, weekend up at Huset's, his track, the track that he owns, the High Bank Nationals. Todd Quiring joins us. Hello, Todd. How are you?
Good, Steve. How you doing?
I am doing well. Todd, what is the post-weekend high, getting back to the flow? What's that been like for you?
It's been pretty normal for me, just getting back in the office and getting my normal daily tasks done. But I think our guys are playing a little catch-up ball here. I think most of them have taken most of this week and through the holiday off, or will be after the first few days of cleanup and so forth. So, yeah, I think everyone's doing well.
Everyone's doing well. What, as that unfolded, the success of the event, obviously you can't predict feature finishes, but the feature finish that you were given, and everything like that, what were the hours, what was the time like after that when you know that you guys hit a grand slam?
It was pretty exciting, for myself and, especially our team that put all this together. That the racing was what I felt very good all week. I thought our format, played what the fans like to see. The last night, the feature, with Sheldon running the high side and then the other guys battling on the bottom, and you couldn't ask for a better race. So.
Yep. You mentioned the format of it. What's what's the procedure, the process, working with the World of Outlaws? And in complete honesty, we know some of the drivers don't like it. That's for sure. We also know that about 100% of the fans love it. So, you seem like you had to dig in a little bit and get that done, and it seemed like it delivered great racing all week long.
Yeah, it did, and the special format is up to us. The World of Outlaws let us
Okay.
put the format together. They might give a few suggestions here and there. It's their call to make it a points race. For their World of Outlaw teams, that's their call. That we don't have anything to do with that. But the format in general, it creates good racing. And I always say, take nothing away from the drivers. We love them all. I have drivers and teams and so forth, but
Yeah.
we put these events on for the fans. And if we don't have fans in the stands, we don't put these events on. And they really like to see, the inverts and good heat racing all the way through. And as you see at the end, the cream rises to the top. And it does in the Kings Royal. It does in, Knoxville Nationals. And I think you saw it, on Saturday night with the Houston High Bank Nationals.
Yeah, no doubt. The same top drivers end up finding their way and navigating toward the front of it. Todd, I want to talk to you about another aspect of it, and you talked about it with you had the inside groove, the outside groove. How much energy and effort since you purchased Huset's has your team, have you guys put into fine tuning and getting that track so that you can prep it like you did and have it results like it did? How tough is that? Can you describe just a little bit of the energy that goes into trying to get to that point?
Yeah, I'm fairly involved with that.
Yeah.
Greg Baker and my son Taylor Quiring, do the track prep, and we've purchased, all the right equipment, what we feel to get moisture in the track. I certainly wish we had dirt up here, at Houston and Jackson like they do at Knoxville, or even the East Coast red dirt that slicks off, and the clay base. We don't have that, and the key is we keep moisture in the track so we can keep bringing it back up. Believe me, no one, including me and myself and Greg and Taylor, we don't like to till the track up and scrape the top and so forth and mist it and water it. But if we didn't, we'd have a pavement track, and the fans don't like that. So.
No doubt, no doubt. And you delivered, you performed. I think that was the fun part about it. The neat part is that the format on Saturday allowed you the time to be able to do that, and I just think that I loved Saturday night of Knoxville Nationals, and that format on Saturday night that you guys had up there gave you the time to make sure that you had the perfect racetrack that gave us the finish that you did. Todd, you took over Houston Speedway in 2020. You came on our show, and I think at that point we talked about the fan base in Sioux Falls and how passionate they were about it. That at the time was kind of speculation. You hadn't ran your first race at that point. What have you learned about your fan base there in Sioux Falls as you've opened this place, gone to regular Sunday night racing, and then now hosted one of the mega events?
Yeah, the fan base in the Sioux Falls market area, and I'm going to say the Midwest area, but our fan base in Sioux Falls is, incredible. It's taken a little bit to get them back. Our weekly shows are very solid. I'm not going to lie to you. We have a nice deal with Dirt Vision. They do a great job for us, which is owned by the World of Outlaws. They do a great job for us. It does take away fans in the stands, and it does across the country. However, I think it creates a brand and a marketing for your racetrack. But our fans are incredible. They stayed around. I think I left before half the fans did on Saturday night. They just like the venue, the short track, and really that's what we're trying to do is we're not trying to compete with the venue. I have passion, for the sprint car world and racing, and we're not trying to compete with Knoxville. We get along great with them. I love Eldora. They have their characteristics. We're trying to build our own characteristics, on a short track. And, I think for the first year, I think our team did a heck of a job of getting it started.
Well, you've raised the bar as far as your team goes. They're going to have to roll up their sleeves and really get after it next year, going to a 4-day format. I've got to think that this year, with the World of Outlaw race a few weeks ago getting rained out and you adding it onto Wednesday night, that how big was that a factor in helping you determine that you wanted to pull the trigger on the 4-day plan for next year?
Well, that just, when it rained out, it just kind of fell in.
Yeah.
We were going to cancel the show altogether, and Doug Johnson, my general manager, came over to me the night we were going to cancel, and he said, "Todd, why don't we know we won't, it's a quick turnaround here, but should we try to throw this in on a Wednesday night and try to maybe give it a test and see how that worked and so forth." And it was subpar for the Wednesday night, but understand people had taken their vacations already for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and but it kind of held its own. But I think once we advertise it and build this into a 4-day next year, it'll be a different story.
Yeah, I really do think it is. You mentioned it just a second ago, talking about this, and human nature, naturally, it's like, oh my God, Todd's going $250,000. What's Tony going to do? What's McCoy going to do? And that sort of thing. I think the neat part about it is with Houston, you've kind of got your own deal because you're a short track. Every other major sprint car race is on a half-mile racetrack. This is really a neat niche that you can build this thing on and really not be in competition with them. This short track is so important with what you have here in Houston. It's this little high bank racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. And by no means, trying to create a competition. That's not what we're trying to do at all. And I haven't talked to Tony since then, but I'm sure I'll see him at Eldora, when we go out there in a few weeks because I'm attending personally. And John McCoy and so forth, we talk to him quite a bit. We're not trying to do that. It's really to build this short track and give the fans, the experience of a short track and something different, So in our area in Sioux Falls, we feel we can do this. I do have a problem, though. I'm going to have to build more bleachers, and so we're kind of going through that at some point here. So, but that's a good problem to have. So.
Down here in the South, Todd, we say, bless your heart when you have a problem like that. That's a good problem to have. Yeah. They talked a little bit about you'd bought some property across the street from the track too. So sounds like expansion is part of your dynamic as you go forward as well. Do you have firm plans on that, or is it still pretty early in that process?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to purchase that. We've been working on purchasing that from the adjacent landowner since I purchased the property. We also bought just north of the racetrack for extra parking. Most people probably don't know that didn't go with it. So we bought them both. And, honestly, I just want more room for expanding, not only Houston, but, a good portion of our business is real estate development and that type of thing. So, some of it's probably going to be some development and some commercial. And the road going by Houston is going to be a 4-lane road in 2028. So it'll create some opportunities and that type of thing for the investment side. And also, we're going to need more parking and so forth. So you know, we'll address that as we continue to grow this event. But we have the property, and that's the main thing.
Todd, about a month and a half ago, you woke up on a Monday morning and your place was tore up by a tornado. What did you learn about your team in the aftermath of that tornado?
Oh, it was. We went out there on that Monday morning, and we just had our team, Doug Johnson, Ryan Knigge, and Taylor Quiring. We went out there and addressed everything, and it just was like. And I just sat the guys down and I said, "Can we do this, or should we just shut it down and rebuild it?" And I think we made a few phone calls. We work with a lot of different contractors and so forth, and we put all hands on deck and hired a lot of contractors and cleanup crews, and our guys worked hard, and our whole team, all the way from Sean Neested and Brian Rubin and all our guys that part-time guys that work at the track on Saturday, they all came out, and everyone, their wives came out and spent a day there, and then we brought professional teams and construction crews just to button it up. And we have a lot of work to do this fall, but we have that in place, and so to say we're perfect right now, no, but it was kind of a Band-Aid to get this race in and get the rest of our season in.
Got a couple other topics before we cut you loose here. The sister track to it, Jackson. Of course, we have the AGCO Jackson Nationals coming up. I know you reworked the track just a little bit before the NOSA race you had there a couple weeks ago. What's the status? What are you working on? How are things over in Minnesota?
They're fine. The Jackson area market is not as big as Sioux Falls. We're not running a weekly show there. We're just running specials this year, and it seems to be, working fine. It's just, it doesn't have the population for weekly shows and that type of thing. So we're going to continue to do specials there. The facility is maintained well. The track prep crew is the same as at Houston. So those guys are doing a good job over there as well.
No doubt. Man, it's a fantastic spot, that's for sure. Also, the sprint car team, I cannot imagine with the level of competition we're seeing with sprint car racing, with the World of Outlaws, 5 drivers within something 54, whatever it is. I'm not a points guy, but I know they're close and I know they're fast. Watching David, watching Cody Jacobs, watching your team, the thrill of watching that, the challenge of that. What are you working on? What goes through your mind as you watch your sprint car team navigate a World of Outlaws schedule, Todd?
We're having, let's say, I think we're having a decent year.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten the wins. We have a great team. David Gravel's a great driver. Cody Jacobs is a great crew chief. Trey Bowman, he's excellent with the car as well. Zach Patterson's a great tire specialist. So we have a great team in place. We just haven't produced the wins, but we've produced a lot of good top 5s and very seldom out of the top 10. We're just working on a few things, and I think we're just very close. As you see, we were fast at Houston. We just had a couple bad breaks there. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate circumstances for not only us and a couple other teams, but Sheldon's been really good this year. I mean, take nothing away from him. He's been on point. So just you can see Brad's been struggling a little bit. I don't. We've probably been struggling a little bit, but we're not far off. And I look for us to continue. We have less than half the season completed, so we have a lot of races to go. A lot of tracks we like to go to, and we got a great team. So I think we'll do well the rest of the year.
You mentioned I want to go back to Houston. I think this sport, and I've talked about this in my NASCAR career. I've talked about it and everything. This sport, just when you think you've seen it all, that gate at the front stretch of Houston has been there forever. Obviously, I know you've probably addressed it already. Is that the weird challenge of this sport? Is that just when you think you've seen it all, something jumps up and bites you like that?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of races as well all my life, and that probably tops the cake right there. Especially with your own facility, and you think you try to keep everything.
Yeah.
We know Houston is a super safe facility. We know Jackson is. I mean, we strive for that type of thing. It's not like we overlook things. If it's broke, we fix it, and I mean, obviously we've addressed it, and it's just something that was, I don't know if it was overlooked or not paid attention to, or I mean, that facility. I'm not going to lie to you. There's still some things that we need to do to it. Not maybe for safety so much, but
Yeah.
more so that type of thing. Who knows how long that latch has been on there? Maybe back in the, I don't even know, how long it's been on there, but we need to address some things, in the whole facility. I mean, I know it looks really nice. Looks like it has a lot of lipstick on it and so forth. And some of that is lipstick, more so in the stands and that type of thing. But there's things we're going to continue to strive for there. We're not going to just, call that good enough. So we'll address all that. And I'm sure next year you'll see some different things at the whole facility.
I 100% know that that will be addressed. That's for sure. I got a couple of off-track sort of things. Todd, you said something to me Saturday night. We chatted briefly after the race, and you said it was two parts of it. You said, I'm kind of like retired, and I'm loving this with the racetrack. Are you kind of like retired, and the passion for doing this racing business? Just kind of describe your passion for it, because it's obvious, but just kind of describe where you're at with your racing, with your business, with your career, and everything.
Well, anyone that knows me, I'm probably never going to retire. Just ask my wife. I think she's probably thinking, whatever. But I'm 52 years old. I have it pretty good right now. We've sold a lot of our major, I'm going to say, hands-on businesses. We're heavily invested in the real estate market. We do a lot of real estate projects. I really enjoy doing that. I'm working all the time on them. We're doing different deals and, building different things and that type of thing. So, no, I kind of call that retirement because it's really fun for me. And so is the racetrack. And these guys run it day to day, but, I'll go over the racetrack a few times a week and check things out. And if they need help with something, and I'm not scared to jump in a piece of equipment and help them out. I kind of enjoy that. So I think that's what I meant by that. So I call it retired, call it doing what I want to do. So.
There you go. Yeah, I kind of knew it was something like that, because guys like you don't retire, that's for sure. Final question for you. I always, when I talk to my guests, like to snoop around a little bit on social media. I went on Lisa's Facebook page, and I saw you with your family, Lisa, Taylor, Andrew. Family, Taylor's so involved with the racetrack there. Todd, I see you guys traveling and doing a lot of things. It's got to be a real rewarding thing to be able to follow your passion, but also to have your family alongside with you and be able to go do things. But Taylor's so involved with the racetrack there. You've mentioned him a couple times. That's got to be rewarding as a husband and a dad as well.
It is. It is, and it's fun. And my wife Lisa is great support. She's always supported what we've done, and no matter what business is. And Taylor's focus is more the racetrack, even though he does a lot of other marketing things for the racetrack side, and works underneath Doug Johnson. And Doug's a great guy. Andrew, my son, he's a senior at University of Iowa, and he works for our Tailwind operation, which is a student housing management company, and he works for that. And I'm thinking Andrew will fall into the real estate side of things. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Exciting indeed. It's exciting to have the businesses, to enjoy what you do, and then to have the family savor it and cherish it as well. Todd, we loved our visit to Huset's last weekend. It was spectacular. The racing was great. The facility, everything was so good. Doug always rolls out the red carpet. Your crew there is so good. Thank you for having us up there, and congratulations on the success. And we just can't wait to see what happens next. We appreciate you joining us here in the post office.
Well, we appreciate you guys, Steve, and it's great to have the Wing Nation up there and everyone that comes up. I know you guys had flight problems and everything. Next year, hopefully, we can make this a 4-day deal, and it'll be even bigger and better. And appreciate working with you guys as well.
There we go. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. And everyone else, thanks for joining us. This is the post office here on Wing Nation. Appreciate everyone checking out this edition.